Hello, Rotarians and guests. Welcome to the Rotary Club of San Jose and meeting number 5,495. Welcome. If I could get it, yes, absolutely. Welcome, everyone. If everyone could take a seat, that'd be great. My name is Matt Breaker, and I have the honor and privilege of leading our meetings and our club for this Rotary year. So welcome. We've got a fun meeting ahead of us. First off, I wanted to thank today's greeting line. Thank you, past President Karen. Want to start off by thanking the greeting line this week, which was handled by the Military Care Committee, led by Brad Barron and Megan Tennisketter. Yes, thank you. We're going to hear a little bit more from them later today. And let's just get right to our traveling mics. We've got Trish Dorsey and Margaret Tomasea here. Trish? Here we go. There's Trish. Hello. Please introduce yourself, name and sponsor if you don't mind.
Hi there. Trish Dorsey, Goodwill Silicon Valley, and my sponsor is Johnny Camus. I just saw.
It. Terrific. Okay, welcome. Please. Hello.
Hi, Margaret Tomasea, and my sponsor is Suzanne Wolf.
Oh, terrific. Hello, Suzanne. Terrific. Well, welcome. You've both been introduced. That's great. Okay, we've got Rotarians with guests. Please stand for introductions, if you would. We'll get the traveling mics on you, and we'll get going over here, starting on this side. The fabulous Jason Stein. Hello.
Good afternoon, President.
Hello.
Jason Stein. My sponsors were Adolph Quillisi and Rod Deardon. I have a very special guest, the much better half of Hal Hendrickson, Kathleen Hendrickson.
Oh, terrific. Welcome. The fabulous past President Larry Stone. Hello.
Hello, President.
That's right.
God, I thought I'd grow out of that.
Never.
At any rate, thank you, President. I appreciate the booze. My guest today is Darlene Rivera. She is a professional fine artist.
Oh, terrific. Welcome. Nice to see you. Okay.
Tim Hagstrom, Mr.
Tim,
President.
hello. Welcome, yes.
I'm privileged to introduce some members of the honors management class at San Jose State who have taken on the term project of evaluating the San Jose State University Committee of Rotary.
Okay.
So we're the term project, and I thought it would be good if we got them all here for dinner at least once this semester.
I love it.
So if they would stand up. Heap Fan,
Okay.
King Yi, and Grace Aramburo.
Welcome all. Terrific. Thank you. Okay. Past President Rod.
Your Royal Highness, I'm here to introduce you to Boris Lipkin. Boris is the immediate past Northern California Deputy Director for the California High-Speed Rail Authority project. And that project, by the way, is about 2/3 done in the Central Valley, in case you didn't know. And they just got $20 billion to finish it.
I love
And
it.
pardon the advertisement, $100.
Terrific.
Boris now is a vice president for STV Corporation, and will be running the world next month.
Terrific. Welcome. All righty. Excellent.
Hello, Mr. President.
Hello, sir.
This is Alan Williams.
Yes.
And I'd like to, as part of the San Jose State Committee, we also have the Rotaract team.
Terrific.
And I'd like to introduce them. Kyla Chow, Mai Cheda, Kamran Daragar, and Devashri Agarwal, the president of the Rotaract.
Wonderful. Welcome. That is fabulous. Great to have you here. Okay. Bunny, hello.
Yes, President. I'd like to introduce, first of all, my husband and audio restoration engineer, Glenn Gould.
Welcome. Terrific.
We'll be introducing our guest speaker soon, but she has with her two very important people from Oxfam, Alejandra Schrader, who's the Senior Philanthropy Officer, and Cully Lundgren, who's Director of Donor Engagement for Oxfam America.
Welcome, terrific. And while we're right there, we do have the district governor in the house who we're going to hear from in a few minutes, but Herb Ritter, a big welcome for Herb. We'll give a more formal introduction in a moment. Please. Hello.
My name is Marshall Schmidt. I'm a member of the Rotary Club of Chicago. I'm here to do a mock argument at the PTO, and I brought my two students from Stanford Law School that I'm coaching. This is Trevor Lowry and Brian, who's out and about at the moment. But I'm also the district governor nominee for District 6450. So thank you very much for accommodating us on very short notice.
Terrific. Welcome. Glad to have you here. Johnny, take it away.
Hello. I have a friend, Peter Torres, who I brought today. He is a commercial and residential independent loan broker, and hoping that he'll join us.
Welcome. I love it. Hello, Catherine.
Good afternoon, President Matt. It's Catherine Tompkison. I have with me a distinguished guest. This is Sergeant Gavin Ganod. He is Army Reserve. He's also the president of the Veteran Student Organization at San Jose State University. Go Spartans.
Love it. Terrific. Okay. Emily, back there. Hello, Emily.
Hello, Mr. President. Emily Rubalcaba here. My sponsors were Sergeant Aron and Sean Cottle. Just want to get that out of the way.
Terrific.
I have two guests with me today. I have Yulia Murzeva from GHJ CPA firm, and she is an audit partner. And I also have Nisha Golcha, tax partner, also at GHJ CPA firm right downtown. Welcome.
Outstanding. Welcome. Thank you. Sarju.
Thank you, President Matt. Sarju Naran with Hoag Fenton. My sponsor is Jean Serpa. And today my guest is Mai Weller. She's Vice President and Relationship Manager with West Coast Community Bank.
Terrific. Okay. We've got Dick Conniff right over here. Hello.
Hello, President Matt. Dick Conniff, my sponsor was John Breslin. It's a real pleasure to welcome back Andrew Bales, who is a former member of this club and the founder of Symphony San Jose. Great friend and a great friend to San Jose. So
Absolutely. Great to
back.
see you. Yes, indeedy. Okay. There's Emily. Hello.
Hi there. Hi, President Matt. My name is Emily Robin. My sponsors are Steve Borkenhagen and Mike Conniff. And I want to welcome again as my guest, my awesome sister, Megan Catuno.
Great to see you again. I think that's it. Well, welcome to all our guests. Fabulous to have you. I keep saying it because it's so true. Guests are the key to getting new membership and growing our club. So kudos to everyone who's bringing guests, and I encourage others to do so as well. Okay. Oop. Well, we're encountering. We're encountering our first technical challenge, John. John, I'll take some assistance if you don't mind, and I'm going to do an introduction while we do that. As I mentioned, today we've got, it's an honor for me to introduce someone who lives and breathes Rotary's motto, service above self, and that is our district governor, Herb Ritter. He has been a pillar of our district for over 3 decades. He served as past president of his club, membership chair, conference co-chair, assistant governor, and is now the district governor for 25-26. He had a fabulous 32-year career in corporate sales and marketing. He was very involved in his own community in Pleasanton, served on the Planning Commission, Parks and Rec Commission, and the Chamber of Commerce. And near and dear to my heart, he's a third-generation Eagle Scout, a devoted husband and father of 2. And Herb is someone who proves that leadership is about leading with vision and serving with your heart and leaving a mark. It's great to hear from him today. Please welcome our district governor, Herb Ritter. Show some love, folks. We're good? It is not.
There goes one more. Let's see if it works. There we go.
Walk-up music, folks. Walk-up music, even to the district governor. Gotta love it.
Wow. Thank you, Matt. Thank you so much. I'm honored to be here today, and I see so many guests. Did they not tell you that the district governor was coming today? Usually that's what happens sometime, but I'm honored to be here today and talk. I got about 10 minutes to just talk about some of the things we're doing at the district level. And I signs up here. What do you think of when you see these glasses? Who do you think of? You know, the old timers say John Lennon. The younger generation say Ozzy Osbourne. But I got these in Liverpool. I took them and I took a selfie. I got home. I felt guilty, and I said I should buy those glasses. So I got them on Amazon. But think about the vision John Lennon had when he created the Beatles. Think about the vision Paul Harris had when he started Rotary 21 years ago. Or 120 years ago. Was it 21? So what I want to talk to you a little bit about is I joined Rotary when I was 24 years old. I love seeing all the Rotaractors there. You guys could still join Rotary one of these days. I think when I left Rotary, I joined in Stockton, North Stockton. It was Cliff Docterman's club. Anybody know Cliff Docterman? Awesome mentor. And then I went back a couple years later, and I got in. I thought they gave me the mic. I'm happy to be back at this great club. And I said, you know, I know when I left, the average age went up substantially. I got a little giggle like that. The president came back and he says, Herb, the average IQ went up also. You know, he's an attorney, so I got to say, okay, you're right. But today I just want to talk about the vision we're doing within the district. What is Rotary? Everybody says, what is Rotary? Honored Marshals here, Rotary Club number 1 in Chicago. Thank you for being a district governor nominee. But 36 years ago, I joined Rotary. There was 1.2 million members. How many members are here today? 1.2. We're doing a lot of things right, and there's a lot of things we could do different. And that's the things that I'm trying to project in the district about some things. What do you think about when you see this iceberg? Rotary's like an iceberg. I don't know if the pointer works on here, but below the ice, below the line, you see teamwork. This is what we all know. We talk about new friends. We talk about collaboration, district connections. Above the iceberg, above the waterline, you see Rotary. Think of fundraisers. You think of older people. You think of helping the community. When I was in Singapore, they did a ChatGPT create a picture for us, and it said, write a picture of a Rotary Club with the president at the podium. And guess what that picture looked like? Bunch. I'm only 60. But yes, think about it was a bunch of old people and it was white people. So even ChatGPT, we got to change the perception. We are an inclusive group. But what I also want to say is down below the waterline is where you get all the past district governors swimming around with their scuba gear. They're all saying how great each things are that we're doing. And then you got poor Matt, presidents on snorkel. They come up for air every once in a while, then they go back down to the Rotary world. But I think what we got to do is get us above the waterline. We got to think about how we're going to project all the great things we're doing here in Rotary. And I think one way to do that is we're actually putting together events. Whoop. You like that? It's a new model. Club members are on top. District governors are on the bottom. District leadership team is on the bottom. We've created a pillar for every club board officer to have someone at a district level where they could get involved. And back when Rod was president of the club, we used to have carrier pigeons, and they would carry the notes around and drop it off at the club president. The president would say, okay, this is what the district's doing, and then we'd try and disseminate information that way. We're trying to change that model. We got the whole district on DACDB. How many of you got an email from me? All right, how many got it but didn't open it? I can see that. I know who is not opening the emails. But the concept is we're trying to create an avenue so you have a connection at your committee level. Those are the 5, those pillars or avenues of service. So we've created a model so they could talk and not have to go to the club president for everything. The community service chair of the club can talk to community service chairs of the district who can share ideas amongst themselves. So be thinking about that. The other thing, the foundation is on the base, membership's in the middle. Be thinking about how you can keep working together, trying to drive those together. And you like that one? do that again. So one thing we're doing is we're going to invade the Colombo Club. I want to take Rotary to other clubs. In November or March next year, we're going to go to Santa Cruz Warriors. We're going to invade their space with a bunch of Rotary people. So we're inviting everybody to come to the Colombo Club. We're inviting Colombo Club members to learn about Rotary. We got a keynote speaker. He's going to talk about the 49ers and Baskets of Hope. We're going to try and partner with them on putting a package together so we could all go to Rotary, so we could promote 49ers and Rotary all in one package when the Super Bowl comes around. So be watching more for that. And one thing my dad used to tell me, is I'd never show up when the district governor showed up. I said, why, Dad? He said, all they ever did is talk about money. So we're going to do that real quick. So this club is fantastic with the foundation. This is a model club. You guys have 331 members that donate at least $25 or more to the foundation. 293 have given $25 or more to TRF or Polio Plus, which is a big thing. I know this club, thank you for mentioning that earlier. We have 291 members that donate $100 or more to the foundation. And there's 10 Paul Harris Society members, $1,000 or more a year. So I want to thank you for all doing that. One thing we're trying to talk about is if you haven't donated $25 or more, at least think about it, because those allow us to do all these district grants and things. So this club does fantastic with that. This is the other thing I want to talk about is membership. This graph is very similar to the Rotary International graph. This club does not have, or I shouldn't say this club, large clubs don't have an attraction problem, it's a retention challenge. It's getting them involved. And Rod and I have been talking a lot about that. He talks about member sponsors. That's the most important thing in Rotary is recognizing those people that are introducing people to Rotary and keeping them in Rotary. We're going to be capitalizing on that by offering at the district conference this year. I'm trying to go quick. At the district conference this year, we're going to be putting everybody's name that brings a sponsor into a raffle, and you get free ticket to Reno, the district conference. We're going to have it with 5 districts this year. So we're going to expand our reach and get out and try and be part of that community. The other thing we did this year, we brought our district. How many of you looked at the district website? Anybody? Okay, on the table there's some pencil with the District 5170. I'll tell you what, if you sign up for the district conference today, you can have a free pencil. It's free. So be thinking about that. I put the website on there. We're doing something differently this year. It's a dynamic website. Through DACDB, clubs could start promoting their own events, and we're going to showcase them. I want the district to be the amplifier and the clubs to be the content creators. Does that make sense? I don't want the district promoting district stuff. I really want to push what clubs are promoting, and we're doing that through a dynamic website. Left-hand side is district stuff, right-hand side is club stuff. There's club fundraisers that we're going to start promoting, all your club fundraisers, and we want to broadcast that out on the 15th of every month, club events through the Easy Story and DACDB. So just be watching for that. A couple more slides. The other thing we're doing is we're promoting the club service projects. If you put into DACDB a service project, we bought this youareneeded.org site, and we're going to start promoting like Meetup. Have any of you heard of Meetup? We're going to start promoting the projects that clubs are doing in the East Bay and the South Bay and the Silicon Valley. This is a district website. If you don't even get in DACDB, you can go to the district website. You know, that's on the pencil there in case you forgot the address. So you can look at all the different things going on. The purple is district governor visits. I've been talking about trying to get us out. Eventually I want those all to go away. I'm having a blast. But look at the green. That's all going to be the club service projects. Those are things that are happening at the club level. So we want to start promoting and amplifying all the great things you're doing at the club level. And then the other thing, how many of you are on Facebook? You know, I asked the interactors, how many of you are on TikTok? They all raised their hand. And I said, how many are on Facebook? They said, what's Facebook? So our generation's Facebook. But the cool thing, if you post on Facebook, make sure you tag at Rotary District 5170, and then magically it will appear at the base of our district website, some of the different posts that we do. So here was my, I love hung. But we post it, and then it shows up on our district website. So even if you're not in social media, you'll get to see what things are being posted. So be watching for that. And Matt, I know I got another minute. One thing I want you to leave you with is there's a pencil on your table. Think about what makes this pencil useful other than the website I added to it. In order to be a useful pencil, you got to sharpen it. I joined when I was 24. I have dyslexia. I use Rotary to help strengthen my skills in the corporate world by sharpening my pencil. I think it's important to make a useful pencil, utilize Rotary to help you do that. There's also an eraser. Why would you put an eraser on a golf pencil? Anybody thought of that? Is it the truth? I use the eraser all the time to correct mistakes. But the most important part of the pencil is what makes it work as a unified body, kind of like what makes this club work. So I would encourage you to sharpen your tool, use the eraser, and then make yourself utilize Rotary to help grow yourself. I'll leave you with, help others when you can through donating to the foundation, encourage others when you can by sharing on social media, respond to others when you can by using the Ignite app or tools we're giving you, be there when you can, kind of like you all are here today. So what's that spell? H for help, E for encourage, R for be there, R for dyslexia. I'm trying to hurry. R for respond, B for be there. Herb, that's what it spells. Thank you all so much. I'm honored to be here with the world's greatest Rotary Club president, and thank you so much, Matt.
Thank you, Herb. Actually, I'll leave this with you because now what we have is the, just go down here.
And I'll stick around if you have any questions. I just appreciate all that this club does. So tried to get a lot of information out while Matt's doing this. So thank you.
Keep having challenges again. So, well, today we get the thrill of recognizing Paul Harris Fellows. And we have certificates and pins to distribute. I'm going to turn it over to Herb to talk for a quick second about what this recognition involves. And then we're going to take a few moments to recognize the fabulous Rotarians who are becoming Paul Harris Fellows.
So thank you. It's my privilege today to recognize these individuals. The honor carries the name of the Rotary founder, Paul Harris, who believed that working together in fellowship and service, ordinary people can make extraordinary projects. The contributions they make at this foundation, this recognition goes directly to the Rotary Foundation. A child in India can receive a polio vaccine because of it. A village in Africa gains clean water, safe drinking because of it. Young girls in Central America attend schools because of it. Communities everywhere benefit from the peace and conflict resolution. So today we honor these recipients, and thank you so much. We've got a whole other hour here to present these. So.
And the Paul Harris Fellow recognizes individuals who have contributed or have made contributions in their name of $1,000 to the Rotary International Foundation. And we'll start that off. If we could have the folks, once you come through and you get your certificate and or pin, please have a seat over here so we can take a photo. And first starting up with those at the $1,000 level, we have Jaime Chavez, I don't know if he's here today, David Cohen, Karen Fox, terrific, and we're going to give you this, Karen Fox right here, and then this is coming out. Mike Fulton. Bunny Layden. Ed Kraus. Leah Schnorr. Okay. Doug Smith. No, he's not. Darren Sparks. There's Doug Smith. Okay. Ini Ubo. Ron Zrake. Okay, terrific. Now we've got the Paul Harris Plus One, $2,000 level. Tracy Adams. Bill Barron. Jeff Hare. Terrific. Jeff Hare's come on down. Roger Mylock. And Scott Payne. And the +1, the pin, has a single sapphire on it, recognizing that level. We're now at Paul Harris +2, which involves 2 sapphires involved. We have, and this is at the $3,000 level, Chris DeSalvo. Saw Chris here today, terrific. Eric Heckman. Sandra Jewett. Scott Seaman. Terrific. No, you already got Karen, past President Karen Sinanutari. Jason Stein. And Clarence Stone. Today, okay. Then we have Paul Harris. Paul Harris +3, $4,000 level. Here. Christine Burrows. John Davis. And also Finn Jensen will be getting recognition. Okay, that's all for that. Paul Harris +4. Perfect. This is at the $5,000 level. Contribution. Sandra Gill. Norm Holberg, don't see here today. Norm, fabulous. Dave Peterson, and Kathleen Thomas is here. This is for Kathleen. And at the Paul Harris +5, $6,000 level, we have John Baird. Okay. And Paul Harris +6, $7,000 level. We have Steve Ellenberg. Steve Ellenberg's not here today. And President-elect Tim Gill. Come on down, Tim.
Hey, President-elect.
That's right.
Thank you, Herb. You missed the meeting.
I missed the meeting.
Congrats. Thank you. Awesome.
Thank you. And then Paul Harris +7, $8,000 level. Wonderful Ed Correa, please come on down. And Paul Harris +8 at the $9,000 level. Past President Brian Adams, who I don't think is here today, but recognizing Brian. And then we have a category called the Paul Harris Society. The Paul Harris Society recognizes and honors Rotarians for their ongoing significant financial support. They commit to giving at least $1,000 to the Rotary Foundation each year. And leading us off is the fabulous past President Mike Block.
So this year in May, we're going to honor the Paul Harris Society members that donate $1,000 or more. Thank you very much. On a cruise, a hornblower cruise out on San Francisco Bay. So if you come, you're going to be invited. If you donate $10,000 or more this year, you're also invited. And we'll make sure that one's free. He has to pay $59, but...
And they don't get a pin because they've got all the
They got all the
sapphires
pins.
and all the marks. Also, a Paul Harris Society member this year is Howard Loomis and Kathleen Thomas. Where is Kathleen Thomas? She was here too. Oh,
Hey,
perfect. She's right
Kathleen,
there.
thank
Excellent,
you.
Wonderful. So we'll get a little group photo taken of this fabulous. Let's hear it for these fabulous Paul Harris Fellows and Society members. No, you can go in big time. Thank you. Down there, yes. Okay. Next, we're going to hear from like one of our signature committees is the Military Care Committee, being led by Megan Tennisketter and Brad Barron, and Megan's going to give us an update on that. Show some love to Megan and John. If you can. Let's see if we can get that working.
Oh, right. Hello, I'm Megan Tennisketter, and I co-chair the Military Care Committee along with Brad Barron. And we have some exciting things coming up. I want everyone to get your phones out and save the date for Tuesday, November 11th. That is Veterans Day, and we will once again be at the Veterans Day Parade. We will have our trolley, we will be decorating it, we'll have coffee and donuts as we hang out waiting for the parade to start, and then we'll have a light lunch afterwards. We would like to get as many Rotarians to participate with us as we can. And make this a really great event. If you recall last year, this parade almost didn't happen. It's the largest parade in Northern California to honor our veterans in our community, and it's been going on since 1919. Ray Watts, can you stand up for a moment? Where are you? Oh, he left. Okay, sir. Well, if you see him, Ray Watts with the Silicon Valley chapter of the Military Officers Association of America has taken on the leadership of making sure this parade is happening. So please come on out and join us. And also, if you have businesses here in downtown, it is a downtown parade, encourage your employees to come out and come watch the parade. It's a lot of fun. And these are some photos from last year. We have a great time. I also want you to save the date for Wreaths Across America. That is on Saturday, December 13th. And it's a nationwide event that occurs. 2 million volunteers come out and lay wreaths on the graves of veterans. And we will be at Oak Hill Memorial Park. And we have 1,600 wreaths to lay, so we need help. So come on out, bring your families, bring your friends. It's a great event. It's really lovely, and it's a wonderful way to honor the veterans in our community and those who have served who are no longer with us. And these are from some pictures from last year. It's a really great way to honor. And those are our two signature events that are really the tip of the iceberg of what our committee does. We will also be volunteering at the Santa Clara County Stand Down. That's on Saturday, November 8th. That's when our group will be volunteering. And this is an event where the county brings people together, brings services together at the county fairgrounds. And it's all veteran services to support veterans, especially to help them file claims. They offer dental services, haircuts, a food pantry. So we will be volunteering there. If you're interested, we'll have signups in the lobby, so let us know. And last year, we were delivering lunch to people waiting for claims. We were helping out the food pantry, driving around the golf carts. So they need a lot of volunteers there, so if you're able, please come out and help. Oh gosh, I'm losing out. We also do student mixers with the San Jose State Veteran Student Organization, and this is a way to help the students network and learn about Rotary and network with the business community. We were able to do this a few weeks ago with the Downtown Happy Hour. Thank you, Kimberly Mulcahy, Emily Rubalcaba, and Kelly Dipple for helping us, for including us with that event, and it was great. We had about a dozen students come out, and there were about 50 people at that mixer. This is one of ours at in the spring for at the Gordon House. And, okay, one more second. And we also work with the Defenders Lodge in Palo Alto, and we just had a dinner out there last week. We watched the 49ers beat the Rams, go Niners, and served a roast chicken dinner to the veterans who are staying at the Defenders Lodge, which is by the VA hospital in Palo Alto. We do so much. Please come out and join us. Ooh, uh-oh. And please come out and join us. We'll have sign-ups for Veterans Day Parade in the lobby, so please sign up. Thank you.
Thank you, Megan. The military care is doing fabulous work, and thank you, Megan and Brad, for your leadership. We're going to do a quick around town with Sal, which is one of my favorite parts of the year. So, Sal, past President Sal, take it away.
Okay, great. Okay, so doing this at 1.5 speed if you listen to podcasts. Across the street at the MLK Library, we've got the big Art of Remembrance Dia de los Muertos exhibit on the 5th floor by the San Jose Multicultural Artists Guild. It's up there all month. I highly recommend you go visit. Cornerstone of the Arts, the annual, the City of San Jose honoring some of our creative people. This year, we are honoring, it's up there, retired CMT Artistic Director Kevin Hoggy, the late Chris Esparza, and Joe Miller, who runs the Work San Jose Community Gallery and is himself a great typographic artist. That's October 24th at the Hammer Theater. For all of you art lovers who aren't at Cornerstone already, the ICA's annual art auction is coming up November 1st. This is always a fun event. People dress up in creative ways, and the art up for bid is always interesting, to say the least. So you can check out that at the ICA's website and get tickets. A couple of things I don't have slides for. Breaking news, new restaurants opening. Poppy and Claro in the ground floor of what used to be the Knight Ridder building, KQED building, Capitol Club building. It's going to be open for breakfast, 7:30 a.m., open all day, and it's got a bar. So I like that. And of course, tomorrow night is the Sharks opening night street party outside SAP Center and the dedication at 5 o'clock of Sharks Way. So you'll want to be there. Here's the performance schedule. I'm not going to go through it all because we don't have time, but it'll be, you can look on it on YouTube. Thank you.
Thank you, Past President Sal. Okay. And now we will turn our attention to today's speaker. We'll do some of that in a minute. This week's speaker is Abby Maxman, and introducing her is going to be Bunny Layden. Show some Bunny some love, please.
Wouldn't it be wonderful if our world were truly just and equitable? It's such a lofty vision that at times I wonder if it can ever be achieved. Yet there are people who dedicate their lives to bringing us closer to that ideal. People who tirelessly advocate for economic justice, humanitarian policies, and the protection of human rights and dignity in the faces of crisis. Abby Maxman is one of those remarkable people. It is my great privilege to welcome the President and CEO of Oxfam America, Abby Maxman, to our Rotary stage.
Thank you all so much. It's such an honor to be here, and I'll try to do the 1.25 speed instead of the 1.5 speed to keep us on track. I appreciate the lovely introduction, Bunny, and it really is a privilege to be with you today. Such a distinguished group of committed citizens and professionals, all have one thing in common, a desire to serve and make the world a better place. And as Bunny said, I'm the president and CEO of Oxfam America, which is the U.S. arm of a global Oxfam confederation. A bit about Oxfam. We work in 76 countries, responding to humanitarian crises, tackling both the causes and consequences of inequality, poverty, and injustice. Our vision is to create a better, more equal world. And as you hear, it's an ambitious vision. And one thing I love about the Rotary Club's mission is the emphasis on our shared responsibility to serve humanity locally, nationally, and globally. The need today for compassionate, courageous leadership at all levels across all sectors is so great. ending poverty, building peace, ensuring all people can live in dignity and security. These are not issues that any one person or organization can tackle alone. Unfortunately, today, progress towards these goals is also in jeopardy as we see leadership in our own country walk back from commitments to humanitarian assistance, global health and development, fighting climate change, and so much more. And it is a moment that demands that we all step up as leaders from wherever we are, not step back, and that we help other leaders rise with us. I'm here to celebrate you for the work you're doing in your communities and globally. Truly, it has never been more important or necessary. And to share some of what my own experience has taught me about leading change for a better, more equal future and fairer world. I want to start with a story. When I was 22 years old, a young Peace Corps volunteer in Lesotho, I met a woman named Matsuakai Mputlani. She lived in a part of rural Lesotho and had dedicated herself to organizing resources for children with disabilities and their families. She started out with almost no resources, but with an idea and a drive to help correct what she saw as a grave injustice, that children with all types of disabilities, from a club foot to visual impairments, were effectively trapped in their homes, unable to be part of society because of the stigmatization they faced and the lack of resources that existed to support their needs. She started out literally going household to household and bring children to her own home, and over time, this grew into what today is called the Tuso Center. Tuso means help in Sesotho. May Matsuakai has long since passed away, but this is the organization and legacy she leaves. And when I'm asked who my role models are, I think of her. She was a remarkable woman, an elder in her community, and she helped me, as a young person, figure out a way to use my abilities to help. At a time when she was fighting injustice literally by herself, one that challenged social norms, prejudices, customs, and superstitions, she took time to help me understand how I could positively contribute to her own selfless and visionary efforts. And in the 2 years I benefited from her wisdom and generous heart, I was able to help her secure sorely needed resources to give these kids a better life and offer opportunity and hope. And in this short time, I negotiated for the United Nations World Food Program to include her then informal school in a nationwide school feeding program, and wrote proposals and made connections that eventually helped secure funds from the US and Irish embassies for what became their very first building. So from Matsuakai, I learned how the power of one woman's vision, determination, and conviction to fight against an injustice could become a sustainable institution in its own right and bring light, education, and the opportunity for countless children with disabilities to be active members of society, concurrently combating deep-seated discrimination and offer a brighter future for countless children in her country and community. Since then, I have spent nearly 4 decades working to address some of the most urgent and complex issues of our times: conflict, hunger, and poverty, to name just a few, focusing on the human impacts and the underlying causes that keep people trapped in poverty. My journey has taken me around the world, from those early days in Lesotho, to post-genocide Rwanda, to Ethiopia, to Switzerland, where we worked with governments and the global multilateral system to influence policies that have far-reaching implications and impacts on combating inequality and poverty around the world. And throughout my journey, I have seen firsthand the harmful impacts of the kind of leadership that prioritizes profits over people and the planet, and that sees power as something to be hoarded, not shared. I've also seen the power of a different kind of leadership, one that is centered around mutual respect, compassion, shared power, and speaking truth with courage and conviction. And this is the kind of leadership that we need to take on the complex global challenges we face today, and to achieve a world where everyone has a chance to thrive. One of Oxfam's strengths as an organization is that we are both globally connected and locally rooted. Last year, we reached 14.3 million people through our programs and influencing work, working with more than 2,300 partners around the world. And our partners include a range of actors, local NGOs, women's and refugee rights organizations, farmers groups, local humanitarian networks, and many more. Last year, when I traveled to Ukraine, where I met with various local groups and community leaders that Oxfam has been partnering with to meet the humanitarian needs driven by conflict, it was a real privilege to be there as part of the response that we had been working on. Now, I don't think I need to tell anyone here about what's been happening in Ukraine, and I'm sure all of you are aware of the bitter war that's been raging on for more than the past 3 years. And for many partners we work with, before the war, their missions were focused on issues of gender equality and rights of marginalized groups, including LGBTQ and the rights of Roma people. And with the war, they've had to pivot and scale up and respond to the new needs and demands of things like clean water, sanitation, rehabilitation, protection, and psychosocial support. As large international NGOs coming in from the outside, there are very appropriate concerns around how these things are taken into consideration as priorities. For people living through conflict and war and under occupation, meeting basic needs is indeed essential. And at the same time, we often see the harm done when large outside actors come in focused on their own targets and priorities for delivering aid. The very identities of these organizations and local organizations, which are rooted in their communities and constituencies, can get pushed aside, and their essential human needs for social, emotional healing and for dignity can often get lost. So from the outset, as Oxfam, we were very intentional about being partner-led, lifting up the expertise and knowledge locally, channeling flexible resources directly to local partners, making decisions about what kind of funding we would raise so that we could be deeply intentional to follow the lead of the local partners versus big institutional donors driving the agenda, and support them in ways that help them pivot to meet both the immediate and long-term needs of the people they serve, while preserving and protecting their identities, their core missions, and connections with their communities. And as one example, I had the opportunity to visit one community center in a part of the country that had been occupied until very recently. We had been working with the partner in rehabilitating this center, and I have to say just how profoundly moved I was by how important something like this was for the community's recovery, their sense of dignity and self-determination and resilience. What had long been a central part of their community as a library and community center was so recently damaged by war and occupation had now become a true sanctuary, offering a space for kids to play safely, for women who are trying to hold everything together with their husbands, brothers, and sons fighting on the front lines, to work on artisan activities that generate income, and provide care and activities in community, give moms who are struggling to survive war a place of connection and peace, things that were helping them not only survive the war, but also begin to heal from trauma, to repair and rebuild for a stronger future. Now, we sat together and we all cried together as they shared their stories of war, of occupation, of violence, and how they had felt abandoned and ignored, and their communities had been overlooked by many international organizations, and local leaders and voices of the community had been bypassed by others. And they shared how important it was that Oxfam had listened to them, of what they truly needed, that transcended basic needs of food and water to address those of dignity and security. And the agency had offered them to feel that we trusted them to make decisions and direct funding in ways that were based on their priorities of the day. So for us, this is how humanitarian response should always be, with the focus on local leadership, rights and dignity, and agency and accompaniment of people experiencing crisis, building equitable partnerships founded on trust and respect, and meeting people where they are. Now, I won't claim that we as Oxfam do this perfectly every time. There is a long way to go in changing an entire system to be truly locally led, and we continue to learn about how to adapt our approaches across different environments and geographies and cultures. But seeing the pride that women took in their work, seeing the children play safely, laughing, reading, and experiencing moments of peace and tranquility while living through war and nightly air raids that left all of us sleep deprived, and how much these women who were carrying the brunt of war in their homes, yet answered the call to step in and step up as leaders in the communities, seeing how much they accomplished with so little, all of that reaffirmed in so many ways the value and impact of uplifting their leadership rather than coming in and imposing those from outside. So part of leadership is having the courage to use your voice, to go against the grain, and find ways to influence even when it's extremely challenging. I've had the privilege of working with so many courageous leaders and advocates around the world, and women I met in Ukraine, my colleagues in Gaza, risking their lives every day to deliver aid and share what's happening on the ground there. Partners and community leaders working for peace and security in the Democratic Republic of Congo, just to name a few, some that are in the headlines, some that are not. I was just recently in the DRC, and I want to talk about that for a moment because in these times and through the din of the headlines, this is one of too many humanitarian crises that are not getting the attention it deserves. For people who might not know, there is currently a massive displacement crisis in the eastern part of the DRC, and this is a context where there have been decades of conflicts across the Great Lakes. In my own experience, there dates back 30 years when the DRC was still Zaire, different country, different name, different time. But this is a moment of double shock for these communities. One, the escalation of conflict in January that led to forced displacement at a significant scale. And then two, coupled with the United States abruptly, without warning or reason, cutting off all aid as part of a dismantling of the United States Agency for International Development, USAID. And that they had previously funded 70% of humanitarian assistance in that part of the country. So humanitarian needs spiked, just as critical life-saving assistance disappeared overnight. Now, I want to note that Oxfam America does not accept U.S. government funding. It was a decision made since our founding so that we can be an independent voice regarding U.S. policy and overseas development assistance. And we have at times been very critical, calling out inequities, structural issues, and proposing reforms of U.S. foreign assistance. But dismantling USAID entirely with no warning and no plan is not an answer, and we are fighting against what we see as illegal, cruel, and immoral set of actions by the U.S. government through litigation, public mobilization, and bringing in evidence and the voice of the communities we work with in the DRC and other places to policymakers and the public. When I went to DRC to meet Oxfam staff and partners to learn about the impact of the aid cuts, I was astonished when hundreds, if not thousands of people showed up in the communities we visited, all for a chance to share their stories, to know that they weren't being forgotten. The courage it required of them to show up, to share their most painful and vulnerable experience was humbling. And I met one of our partners who worked on food security there. We had been advocating for years for the U.S. government to give funds directly to the local organizations and had been successful. This is part of our longtime position of supporting the localization of aid. And this partner was a direct recipient at that time and overnight lost 60% of their funding. Now, a woman I spoke with, Gladys, who shared how her organization was struggling to continue serving communities in need with far fewer resources. And in doing so, she was facing threats to her life, detentions and harassment, both by the warring factions and also by the people she was trying to help, as they have become increasingly desperate for food and didn't understand where the previously committed resources and promised aid had went. And yet she was carrying on and asked me, you can see her here in the middle on the left, to share her story with the hope that it can make a difference and that people will hear her stories. So these are the voices I carry with me in my work. These stories give me courage and resolve to do the hard things, to use my voice to inspire compassion and action. We are in a moment when that courage is truly needed. Now, just last week, the Trump administration issued a new set of rules that put more conditions on those who accept their funding to stop talking about the very things that work and address the real needs of communities around health, protection, and access to resources that help them recover and rebuild. There is so much pressure to comply, to be quiet, to keep one's heads down. And those who do accept U.S. government resources are having to make these painful choices about what they must give up between their values and different areas of work. And we're all having to navigate how to hold true to our values and principles during this time. Now, this is something that drives me and grounds me in my work at Oxfam and in my community. It's up to us and me as a leader to make sure I'm seeking out the voices that are not being heard, to listen with humility, to understand their truths and lived experiences, and to use the privilege and power I have and we have, that I hold, to bring their voices into spaces where they might not otherwise be heard. I had the privilege of speaking on the floor of the United Nations the week before last, calling for action for the children of Gaza. The Queen of Jordan was there and various government ministers, and we heard the voices of Palestinian children and doctors about what they were experiencing, and had data that showed that one Palestinian child had been killed every hour since the start of the conflict. It took tremendous courage for everyone to share their stories and the commitment to galvanize action and accountability. Also, when we look to using our voices to challenging power, we know that right now, I'm sure many of us are impacted, that we're in a government shutdown, which is having huge harm in the US and globally. At Oxfam, we talk about fighting inequality, as our experience shows that it is a precondition to ending poverty and injustice, and we call out the facts that the top billionaires are receiving $60 billion of tax breaks, which is more than double the $30 billion that was cut from foreign aid to save lives. And by the way, that represents less than 1%, that $30 billion, of the total US budget. And as everyday people here in the US are struggling to afford basic services. So our efforts, like those of you who give your time and expertise and experience to the Rotary Club and seek to serve, to address both the causes and consequences of poverty and injustice, and hold our unshakable belief that a better, more equal world is possible and must be fought for with evidence, determination, commitment, and collective action. The things we need to do today are hard and require courage, persistence, and strength. But if it isn't hard, we're probably not fighting the right fights. We see the actions being taken by world leaders today that are making existing problems worse. And we know, and I've seen evidence firsthand, that there's data supporting it, that they are already costing people's lives. People are dying. But there are solutions within our reach. If enough people come together to demand accountability and action, locally, nationally, and globally. And we all have the power to be part of a butterfly effect. As the anthropologist Margaret Mead said, never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it is the only thing that ever has. We have the opportunities to push for investment in economies in a new era of global development and aid that lifts everyone up, instead of further concentrating wealth and power in the hands of a few and leaving ordinary people and the most marginalized behind. We can demand better of our leaders, to do better, to be better, while setting the examples ourselves, by calling out injustice when we see it, even when the stakes are high. Some of those efforts are designed to dispirit and silence us, and we must continue to use our voices and speak our truth. We need to seek out the voices that are not being heard, listening with humility, and using the power and privilege we may have from wherever we sit to elevate them. And finally, trusting people who are closest to the problems to lead with solutions and demonstrating that trust through our actions, by sharing resources and power, and by working to change the systems that we see are not working for the majority of people. Whether you're running a business, serving in government, organizing in your community, having conversations with family and friends, or mobilizing your resources in support of social good, the Rotarian mission of service above self calls upon each of us to speak out with conviction, to act with purpose, integrity, and compassion to achieve the change that we all aspire to make. And even with the challenges we have today and as we face them, I believe truly that change is possible. Back in 1988, when I would walk through my village in Lesotho with May Matswakai, I remember feeling both in awe of her sense of purpose, but also dismayed to see all that she was up against. And she helped me figure out a way to use my own abilities, such as they were when I was age 22, offering small contributions to her tireless and selfless efforts, and it became part of something profound and lasting. She showed me the power that one person can have to take on even the most deeply ingrained injustices. Change takes time, it takes patience, perseverance, self-care, and service, and I have seen that when people like you come together to lead with courage and integrity, the ripple effects are profound. Thank you all for all you do.
Thank you, Abby Maxman. Thank you, Abby. We'll get it afterwards. Thank you. Okay, wonderful talk. Thank you very much. Before we head out, just wanted to say that next week's meeting is the fabulous Lee Weimers event. If you haven't signed up using the QR code, please do. There's a table outside to sign up. There's also, we have a few slots still open for the International Feast, which is this Friday at the Gordon House, so please sign up for that as well. There's also an ability to sign up out in the lobby for that. And with that, we'll call this meeting adjourned. Thank you so much.